there are friends, there are babies, and they say that, hello, children are the future. Do you believe that? I know I do. Since I believe that, I would only have to say that everybody else should believe that too. The children should be the future because they're little babies, and someday they're going to grow up into big adult humans, and when they grow up into big adult humans, you know that we're going to be old too. We're going to get old. We're going to have to go into nursing homes. We're going to have to sleep on beds, sleep on cots, sleep on the floor, sleep on air mattresses, sleep in tents, sleep on hammocks. It's what they make old people do. They take bets and they laugh at old people. And yes, there are people taking bets on what bed the old people are going to sleep in. Why do they do that? I wouldn't know. I'm not an old person just quite yet. I will be there eventually, so don't you worry about my situation, because I will be old someday and so will you. But until then, I think we should learn how to enjoy ourselves. Watch some Major League Hockey or some baseball or whatever else you got to do to get through the day. There's so many things. You could build a model race car. You could take your son to Boy Scout practice. You could start a band with some guys from the office. You could do all sorts of things, really. It's all up to you. It's all up to you what you want to do, because nobody can tell you how to live your life except for the government, and they do that. But I digress. Welcome, businessmen, to another episode of welcome, businessmen and other miscellaneous human beings, to another episode of SparkleDart. Today it's a game about some little pink man. So we're gonna play it, we're gonna play real good. And we're gonna be talking about all sorts of things today. I got so many topics to cover, so much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You got to enjoy life if you ever want to get anywhere. If you don't enjoy life, then what can you really expect to get out of it, You're just kind of coasting along for the ride. If you just coast along for the ride, you're never going to take any detours or take any dark alleys or dank alleys or whatever. Whatever adjectives you prefer to apply to your alleys, because alleys come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and colors and creeds. And yes, there are alley creeds. So, oops, I died. Can you believe that? So, anyway, excuse me. So, you got to explore life. You got to make the most of it. You got to fasten up that belt buckle. Pull up them britches. I thought you could do the thing. I guess you can't do the thing. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm okay with that now. Alright, so excuse me, I just had to think about something for a minute there. So, what's going on with you fellas? I've been real busy lately down at the plant. We had a couple big shipments in recently, so we had to do some overtime, if you will. So I'm not too bent out of shape about that. I appreciate getting extra work because it means that I can afford the things that I really want to get in life. Like, I'm saving up for a boat right now. We're gonna go down to the Poconos, maybe take it out onto the lake or the ocean, whichever. I'm not picky. Boats are boats, right? Boats will take you wherever it is you want to go out on the water, right? So if you want to go skiing or air surfing or windboarding or whatever it is that you like to do, because everybody likes to do something different, and I know that you like to do something. If you didn't like to do nothing, you wouldn't be here watching video games on the internet now, would you? You would be, I guess, out playing video games, which is what I would think you would do if you were interested in them. But some people are lazy, and I understand that. I'm lazy too. I would rather watch football than play it myself, and does that make me lazy? Oh yeah, it definitely makes me lazy. But, oh, you motherfucker. But, okay, so, hold on just a second here. So, everybody has something that they like to do, and if you tell me that you don't, then you're fucking lying. And I don't like liars watching my YouTube video games. So if you're lying to yourself, please stop watching my... I'm not going to tell you to stop lying to yourself, because that's not my place. I'm not your psychiatrist. I don't have the authority to tell you what to do, because I believe that all humans are smart to some degree. And Oh, pardon me. If you're not smart enough to figure out what it is you need to be doing with your time, then I just don't see this being my place to help you out, because nobody ever told me it was never that easy for me. I had to figure it all out myself. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's good to learn things on your own. That's how you make mistakes, and then you get burned, and then you learn from that mistake. And when you learn from a mistake, then you're a better person for it. And I'm not. That's just not just me saying that. That's B.F. Skinner and Sigmund Freud, and who was that other man? The one who was in the videos. This is not Zapruder, but oh God, Maslow. He was all about his pyramid of hierarchy, and he really preached something called self-actualization. And if you don't actualize yourself, then you'll never make anything of yourself. And if you don't love yourself, first and foremost, then you can never really love anybody else. And that's what he said, but he's been discredited on a lot of accounts, much like Freud has. And I think that's not unreasonable, because back then those people were making these huge sweeping generalizations, or wow, that was amazing, or accusations or whatever that didn't really line up with how we understand the human brain to be these days, because science has increased like tenfold in the last 30 years, 40 years since the 70s, and since then we've learned a lot more about humans and the way that they think and the way that they act, and especially we've learned more about the universe and how insignificant we are in the universe. So if you have the chance, watch a series called Cosmos. Now, Cosmos comes in two flavors. It comes in old version and new version, and old version's pretty good and new version's pretty good too, but they kind of feature different material. Now, it wasn't a complete remake. The new version wasn't a complete remake of the old version, and nor should it have been. But so the old version offers you evolution and physics and science the way that we used to know it back in the 70s, starring Carl Sagan. He was a good guy. He looked a lot like that nerd from the Ding Dong Theory, or whatever the show is called. I don't watch, because kids these days, let me tell you, kids these days. Or the new version has Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he's like a less threatening Samuel L. Jackson. And I think that's a good way to describe him. And it's not racist because they're both black. Although it is kind of racist because I said Samuel L. Jackson, because they're both black. So I guess whether or not it's racist is completely up to you. Oh my God, this penguin's chasing me. Get out of here. So yeah, I've been talking a lot about physics today, but that's only because I'm super interested in them. I'm not into like the horoscope or whatever. Yeah, I'm a Sagittarius, whatever. I'm not going to make anything out of it. I don't like to read the horoscope on a daily basis because it all says the same trite. Like, okay, so here's the thing. If you were to read the horoscope one day for your Sagittarius and then another day, like 6 months later for your Pisces, it would say the same goddamn thing. And you know why it says the same goddamn thing is because all of the horoscopes are basically interchangeable. They can all be used to say the same thing to different people. And now listen up. There's nothing. Oh shit. There's nothing wrong with false hope. False hope is completely fine. I've got no problems with that. If people like to believe in something that isn't true, that is their own prerogative, people. But who am I to say that they're stupid for believing in that? Like, okay, so down at the warehouse, there's this man who identifies as being an atheist, and he's part of something called the, well, I'm not going to tell you what city I live in, of course, but he's part of something called My City's Free Thinker Alliance. And to me, that just sounds so amazingly arrogant, because it makes it sound like people who believe in religion, like me, I'm a Catholic, are not free-thinking men. And let me tell you what, I'm the most free-thinking man there is out there. And that's not just bragging, that is absolute truth. If you think you think more freely than me, then you're thinking wrong. You know how I know that? Because you're not a free thinker. So, bam, what are you gonna do? I'm sorry, that was a sick burn, and I didn't mean for that burn to be that sick, but it kind of turned out to be that way, you know? So, burn is a word I've been really interested in understanding the origin of, because to call something a sick burn, it makes it sound a lot more severe than it really was, even though I know some guys who got third-degree burns over half of their bodies because of an incident down at the warehouse district. There was an explosion fueled by one of the coal burners, and of course we know coal burning is pretty efficient for what it is, but it's also super dangerous both to your health and to your physical environment. And oh no, that mushroom, he got me. So, I mean, that's why we had to do away with it. But the real problem is now that the alternatives that we've come up with are not any better than coal burning. So maybe we should just go back to coal burning. I mean, coal is nothing but compressed carbon, right? So we could use that coal and just compress it real hard into diamonds, and then sell those diamonds and diminish the value of the De Beers Diamond Company, who thinks that they have a monopoly, which is the word that I meant to say. Yes, don't be a smart aleck. And take them down a peg, because diamonds cost too much. And you know what, Trisha, she wants one, but I'm not about to pay, what is it, 1/4 of my yearly salary on a diamond. It's a rock. It's nothing more than a mineral, Marie. Jesus Christ. So, because of all of that, I don't think I'll be getting married anytime soon. And if she breaks up this little dog and pony show that we got going on here, then between you and me, I wouldn't be too torn up about it. But please don't tell her, because she's a very sensitive lady and she'll come at me with a frying pan, and that is just not something I need to deal with. I am much too pretty a man to be hit in the face with a frying pan, let me tell you. I've done it before, and you know what? Me and my friends were stupid as kids. We like to, pardon me, test each other's endurance. And let me tell you, a kid is not very well adept to getting hit in the face with something made out of metal and Teflon. And those two things together create for a very deadly combination, let me tell you what. So, what you gotta do is, if your woman's telling you she wants a diamond, you just gotta let her know that diamonds are impractical. Show her the science behind it. They created a false monopoly way back into like the 30s and 40s just to keep sales up for something that you don't really need to sell in the first place. Did you ever play The Sims 3? I bet you did. You can go around and collect stones and rocks and minerals and get them cut, different facets on the faces, all sorts of stuff like that, and it costs you so little for so much in return, and it is not worth at all the price that you're paying. But if you do it, you get paid a lot. And that is a good way to make money on The Sims 3. That's why I like that game. It gives you different ways to make money besides just having a normal job. And if you just had a normal job, then you don't get to spend all your time watching video games on YouTube. Thank you. I was SparkleDart. Have fun. Go play outside, kids. Mwah.